Most listings don't die because of the price. They die because of absolute silence. So think about the last seller who fired an agent. Ask them why, and they almost never say, the price was wrong. They say, I never heard from anybody. That's what they say. Why? Because when I call expireds, that's what they tell me. I'm Tristan Ahumada. This is Your Daily Real Estate. It's a podcast. It's a show. I've been doing this for 23 years. No, not the podcast. But and I want to tell you the exact thing I've watched happen over and over, and the feedback that I get from the sellers that I talk to whose homes expire. And let me tell you this, agents, they work really hard. And I watch them create some of the most amazing marketing pieces. They put real work and they make calls happen. They do open houses and they put a lot of the work behind the scenes that isn't always displayed or can't always be seen. The seller sits at home and thinks, is my agent actually working? Because I haven't heard from them, or I don't know the details. What's actually happened? And if you don't tell people what you did, good works go unnoticed. And in fact, it looks like you're actually not working. And so I want you to pay attention to how to fix it. It's a one-page update you send every week, and it has 6 parts, same 6 parts every single time. I call it the 6-point report. In fact, we went over this already, but it's so important right now that I want to go over it again. Point 1 is showings, but not just this week's numbers. You give them both numbers. 3 showings this week, 14 total since we last listed, or since we listed. Why both? Well, because one slow week feels like a disaster when it's the only number a seller sees. So put the total next to it, and one bad week becomes what actually is happening. Here's a week, but here's the total, right? So you have to put it into context. Point 2 is online activity, views and saves. Pull it from the MLS, from Zillow, from Realtor.com. Have AI auto pull this if it can, if you have all those things connected. This one matters most when showings are slow because it proves the marketing is still working and it tells you something. Listen closely. High views and low showings means the price or the pictures are the problem, or partially the marketing, right? And partially the price. A low views means nobody's seeing it at all. That's an exposure problem, and it's a completely different fix. So point 3 is feedback, word for word. Don't sugarcoat it. 2 or 3 real comments from the agents who walk through. And I think that some agents get this wrong. Don't clean them up, right? Don't soften it. Don't translate it into nice agent language. I know I used to do this a lot. If the agent said, love the kitchen, but the yard felt small, you send that exact sentence. Now, I could have picked something more crazy, but I went soft. When a seller reads the same comment 3 weeks in a row, figure it out themselves. You don't need to tell them anything. You show up with a solution though, right? And if this particular problem can't be fixed, then it's going to come down to the price. You handed them the evidence and you let them get there on their own. Because if you push it, it may feel a little bit salesy and they just feel like you just want to get it sold. So quick thing before I get to the most important one, if this is helping you, hit subscribe. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it's how these videos keep showing up to you. Okay, point 4. This is the one that I think may be the most important one, but you tell me. Point 4 is the competition. What actually moved in their price range this week? What came on the market? What went pending? What closed? What dropped their price? And you say it like this. 2 new homes came on the market this week. The one on Maple went pending in 9 days at $12,000 less than yours. Read that again in your head, or just listen to me as I'm telling you that, right? Rewind that. You didn't ask for a price reduction. You didn't argue. You just showed them what the market picked instead. And here's what I've learned in these 20 years of screwing things up when I listed homes and I did a terrible job. You almost never have to ask a seller to lower the price. If you show them what the market chose week after week, they bring it up first. And when they bring it up, it's their decision. Nobody has to defend anything. Now, point 5 is what you did this period. The invisible work, right? Going back to the very beginning. The work that you actually did, but you just have to talk about it, show it, right? Here's what it sounds like. Reached for 100 people with ads, called 6 showing agents, posted the twilight photos, hosted 4 groups at the open house. Now, some of you are thinking that sounds like bragging. It isn't. Your seller has no idea any of that happened. And if in fact you want to go into it deeper, you should, because maybe even the few sentences that I just blurted out to you isn't enough detail. To them, the house just sits there, and numbers and action and details make the work real. And point six, what's next and what you need from them. One or two things you're doing next, you're doing this week, next week, and one clear ask. See, I added this piece much later in my business, and I wish I would have done it earlier, but this is what it sounds like. This week, I'm doing X and Y. Now, one thing I need from you, can we open up all the blinds before Saturday? That's it. The ask is doing more than you think. It keeps the seller in this game. It makes them part of the team instead of a customer waiting on you. And it means every update ends with a next step, which quietly says, I'm still in this with you and you're still in this with me. So these are the 6 points every week, the same order, so they know exactly what they're getting. Don't mix them up, and you can put them in any order you want, but how you present them, same time, same way, and how the seller wants it. So a report isn't a recap of what's happened. It's evidence, it's context, and I think it's really your next move here with them. And here's what I want you to do this week as you're listening to this. Pick your oldest listing, the one where you've been a little bit quiet and you know you could have done a little bit better, right? And if you have a listing, obviously. If not, when you get this listing, save this and reuse it. But you know you've been a little bit quiet, or you could have done a lot more communication. You're like, but Tristan, I don't know what to say. That's okay. That's it. That's the point. Then those 6 points before you go to bed tonight, if you're listening to this in the morning, and decide, what days am I going to update my client? Is it going to be Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday, or what day? But listen, you need to add this. If you liked this, if you found this useful, please share this, subscribe. I will talk to you again tomorrow.